up, I think we could be live. Script. There is no script. There is no script. Oh, hang on, it's all wonky. Oh dear, what a rush again. How we doing? Strange. Ooh. Can you see me, hear me? A bit far away with the old camera. I'll have to sort that in a minute. Hi, Gary. So we've got Sean, Man Cave Workshop. We've got shortwave listener Turk. Welcome, Turk. Oh, I got a bit of wire stuck in my elbow. Am I live? Can you all hear me, see me, etc., etc.? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a bit closer. I was gonna rip the lot off in a minute. Hi, Paul. How are you, mate? You managed to sneak out for 5 minutes, have you? Right. Loud and too clear, eh? Oh dear. Let's get a beer going. What should we go with? Let's have a Prince of Darkness. Let's go with the Prince of Darkness. Hi, King Coms. Darren, how are you, mate? Mike as well. So, firstly, apologies for no no live stream last week. We were invited over to a friend's place for drinks and nibbles, and really I would have had to rush the live stream and would have had to cut it short after a couple hours. I thought, no, I won't compromise it. I'll cancel it. And today my lad's been down. He came down for my brother's wedding yesterday, which is where I was all day yesterday. So he stopped over with us today and just gone back on the train. So I've literally just pretty much got back, had a little bit of a tidy up, and jumped straight on. So there we go. So we've got let's say Benji's just dropped in. Hi Benji, how are you? Let's have a quick drink. So this is brewed in Exeter, this stuff here. It's I've had it before, Darkness Prince of Ales. Nice. One of my brother's favourite beer, I believe. So yeah, Camera Champion Beer of Southwest of Britain, Southwest Competition Triple Medalist, 2013, 2014. So yeah, it's won a few awards. That nice stuff. It's a dark sort of stout, really. Is that what they say? Yeah, it's a stout. Seems to be a stout thing going on today because I've got some Guinness down there for later. Hi Rob, how are you? Right, was quite a lot to get through today, or as much as you want to get through, really, before you all fall asleep. Got a quick update on the radio that I spent most of last week on, the little Garris set here, which I'll show you in a minute. It was Airband special week before last. Poor even. But Sky King Comms there, Darren, that's a chap who owns these Airband radios, and it's his website that we had a look at the other week. I think it's raffairford.com, isn't it, Darren? But yeah, in the last live stream, we looked at the Shark Mark V. We put that one back together and it was working. We also looked at the Shark Clubman, which for some reason I've done all the work on it now electronically, but it's a really quiet noise floor on it. There literally is no noise floor. You put it on maximum volume, you think there's nothing really going on with it. And then you tune it to an Airband station, all of a sudden it sort of like comes to life. So it's really weird. It just sounds like it's not working, but it actually is. So I spent a lot of time messing with that one, trying to get it better, and I did get it even better, but I don't think there was a fault with it to start with. So I'm trying to fix stuff that's not there, really. So yeah, most of this this week, as I say, I spent a couple of days playing with the let's get the light sorted. I spent a couple of days playing with the Shark Clubman just to see if I could get that any better. Then I moved on to this little Gauers, and it was in a bit of a state, to be fair. It was well used, and I believe from what Darren was saying, this is a Gauers 6221, and I was trying to figure out how he knew which model number it was. But right on the very bottom of the display, it's got 6221 VHF. So, and the other one I got over here, which is about to start work, is a 6220, I believe, which I think, from what Darren is saying, this is the American version, and the other one's the European version. The only real difference I can see is the little plate on the top that's got a little direction finder knob on it. That was tricky. I'll show you a little bit of that in a minute. So anyway, let's get you down on the bench, and let's move this camera in a little bit at the same time. I'm probably going to knock it off the face of the earth now. Let's get a bit closer. Let's get you down. Whee. We are close, aren't we? Okay. There we go. So this is the little Garris set I've been working on. When I had it originally, it didn't have any feet on it at all. It's pretty beat up, but it was probably the best of the bunch, to be fair. The handle was hanging off. One of the supports had given way, so I've managed to do that as well. But I did a bit. Hi Andy Beck, how are you? Literally just started, Andy. So yeah, what I've done to this one then, quite a lot. There's a lot of chrome missing off of this centerpiece, so I've touched all that in by hand. Someone's gone a bit mad with the glue on it in the past. I don't know. It's almost like cement. I don't know. It's weird stuff, but I can't get that off. But I polished the face up a little bit. Got it all back together. As I say, we've got the little feet on the front now, and just as an example, I've got one of the original ones here. So that's pretty much a fairly identical match, really. It was a bit tricky to draw that. I mean, this is some ones that I printed out. Hi Keith, how are you? This is like just the raw printed part here. You can see all the sort of stuff's all in it, all the reinforcement. But yeah, basically they come out the printer like this. Then they got to be cleaned up and shaped a bit by hand. They're black, not grey, this, but to be fair, you can't really notice, and it's a really stable foot on it. It's a good foot. The problem with this one, and it is a design problem, is basically the screw goes in the middle, and you screw it. Well, no, you don't. It's actually not screwed. It's riveted through the middle. And I think with time, what happens, because this is all hollowed out, it's not very strong of structure, and they just snap in half. So I wouldn't have thought there's many Gauers out there with that actual. In fact, that's out of 3 sets. That's the only foot I had, and luckily there was one still intact that I could copy. These are now solid. I mean, these are really strong ABS, much stronger than this. In fact, I could probably snap that one in half just by bending it, so I won't. But yeah, that was one thing. The other thing was we had this label on top. I think Darren originally thought that this was plastic, but if I bring that up to the camera, you'll be able to see that this is like it's just like a metallized label. It's almost like a silver foil label with a print on top. So what I had to do for that, I was thinking of going to a printer to get it done, but really that would have cost an absolute fortune. So what I did is I 3D printed some little 1mm thick, so identical size and shape to the original, and basically taken wet and dry paper, thinned it right down to sort of wafer thin, and masked it off and drew a line across the top with some chrome paint. And to be fair, if I show you what I've done on it, that's the new one there with a little direction finder, and that's the old one beside it. So really, you can't really know the difference. This one's very slightly thicker, that's all. But yeah, that did come out really good. I was really struggling to work out how to do that, but I came up with that idea and it's worked well. I had one other idea, which is over here. This is another one of them. So you can see with this, I've actually painted that chrome. So the idea was to put a very thin strip of masking tape down the center and then spray it black to let the chrome come through, then peel the tape back. So that's that might work. The only thing is the tape I've got is a little bit too thick. It wants to be 1 mil, that little stripe, and I've got 2 mil tape. So that's just stuck to a bit of wood at the moment. So you can see that one's been sanded down quite thin. So yeah, a lot of messing about, a lot of fiddly work, but I think it's worth it because the radio is looking lovely now. Other issues with it, you can see somewhere here we got cracks. This is like a plastic trim around here, and unfortunately with the stresses and in the sun or whatever, it broke it in several places. So what I've done is squashed it back together, then melted it back together to sort of plastic weld it, which has held it together quite nicely. So that's all done now. I say the handle had come apart, and all the handle is just like a normal handle buckle, I suppose, with a peg in it that goes through the side, and then they solder the peg to a washer to hold it in. I can't show it to you because it's all back together at the moment. So what I basically did was I got a because the pin had basically split off. It was a hollow pin and it had just broken. So I got a pot rivet and used the shaft of the pot rivet and soldered it to the actual casing, pushed it back through, soldered a washer on, then cut it off with a hacksaw and filed it flat. And we've got a nice strong handle back on it now. Darren has got another one with a handle on it that's intact, but it's not as nice a handle as this one, so I was keen to try and repair this one. So at the moment, in the back of it, I've got just a PP3 at the moment, just clipped on. One other, well, lots of other work I had to do to this radio. Electronically, it was a nightmare. Hi Jess, how are you? Yeah, electronically, it was a bit of a nightmare. Let's pop this chat out so I can see it a bit better. It's had to have all the transistors replaced. There were shorts on about 3 of them from memory. 2 of the transistors I couldn't get out. I've snipped the lead on one of them, the shield lead, and I managed to take the other one out. Actually did get it out, but I couldn't fit another one back in place. So I've zapped the original one and put it back in. Also, there was a nick here on the front. You can see there's a little bit of grey paint there that's not the same colour as the rest of the case, because that's the only shade I had available. But I've carefully shaved it back, glued it down with PVA, and I've just touched in over the top. I'm going to need to get a slightly darker shade, I think. Hi Cyberflyer, how are you? Hi Jess. I think pretty much, I can't see Andrew Alsfa or Simon yet, but they may be in later. So yeah, that's the story on the Gauers at the moment. As I say, this is pretty much finished now. I'm happy with this. I had to put a couple of little screws, new screws in the bottom as well. So I've got some little brass ones in there, which holds the circuit board in, because for some reason the old ones weren't protruding through enough. So let's get the aerial out and try it. And say, those of you that are on the Facebook Messenger group will have heard this radio working already, if it'll go up. Let's turn it on.
Before you go ahead. Descend flight level 220, expecting 130 by Delta, easy for a confirm, press for that.
There's a lot of other speaker stations in the background there, but there's quite a strong one coming through.
Heading 360 degrees, easy 57 echo room.
Seems to be a fairly prolific channel. Yeah, yeah, you're coming through good, Paul. Coming through good. This is just basically on the whip area as well. There's no external area on it. No, it's not gonna. They're not gonna talk. This is the problem with Airband. They very rarely talk, and when they do, it's a really fast transmission. You've got a job to catch them.
We can give you 78,
And it still works on medium wave and long wave. He says, hopefully.
From 35 yards, straight at David there, tries follows up thinking he... Best, what we've played for a long time, isn't it? The most offensive, they look confident, they're playing with pace. Yeah, there was that punch to the atmosphere, hasn't it?
I've got very little on AM here, so... Just get that, I've got that needle in. I've just got the dial pointer in a little bit close to the scale there. Let's just ease that out a little bit. It's binding on the face there a little bit. There we are. I have put a little bit of grease on that as well, so as it will come on and off, because it's pretty scary taking these on and off, I can tell you. There we go. So back on Airband. So anyway, there we are. I'm not going to play with that any longer, but that is far more sensitive than the Shark radios, both of them. It picks up a lot better. So hopefully, well, I'm sure Darren will be quite happy with that when it gets back to him. So yeah, there you are. That's the Gauers 6221. That's right, yeah, 6221. Lovely little radio, working as it should be, and looking rather nice as well. It's a very unique looking radio, really. I suppose it looks a little bit like the Dansets, doesn't it? But yeah, nice little radio. So let's put that one to one side anyway. I've got one more that I'm going to be starting on next week, and that's the Garris 620, which is this one here. It's got the dial face off at the moment because the one I had for it had no front bezel on it, so I pinched one off of a donor radio that Darren had. It's slightly different. The aerial's different. It's a little bit thicker, the aerial on this one, a little bit more robust. There's no little direction finder on top. But apart from that, it looks pretty much the same. As you can see, we've only got 1 foot on this one, and that one had snapped in half and it's been glued back together. So this will have a couple new feet as well. You can see from the label there, look, it's Gauer AG Electronic, Zurich in Switzerland. And as I say, these are a bit of a nightmare to work on, to be honest. They're really, really difficult. But there you go. That's next in line. This is my radio, but I believe Darren's got first dibs on this one. I don't think he'll let me keep this one. I think he's going to insist that he has it. One thing that is a problem on these, and this one's exactly the same, is this has got like a little, you can see it's like an acetate window in there that sort of closes over certain sections. It's really fragile, and this one's broken. The other one was broken, so I've just got to take that little window out, really, which is a bit of a shame, but unless someone's got some black acetate, there's not a lot we can do with that. I don't think this one's in quite as good condition as the other one Darren's got there. We've got a bit of paint on it, that will come off easy enough. The handle's intact, aerial's good. Do a little bit of gluing back on there, but apart from that, it's pretty good, this one. It should come up really nice. So that's my project for this coming week, to get that one up and running. And I believe Darren's going to meet us at the NVCF, look. So there's another candidate for meeting up. There'll be more of us than other people soon, the way we're going. Hi Harvey, how are you? And Theo? So there we are. That's the Gauers. Just catch up with a bit of chat a minute. Oh. Hi Leon, how are you? You're in Belfast, Paulie. I know you were touch and go as to whether you could come or not. Whew. I'm not sure, Benji, to be fair. I think you said you were going. I know Sean is definitely going. I don't know, did Rob say he was going to be going? I think Sam's not in yet. Average Joe, not seen him pop in yet. What's happening with Freeview, Jess? I don't know. We don't know. Yeah, it's I'm sure you've Googled it, Darren. It's a hell of a gathering. It's so much stuff up there. It's unreal. You know, I went around it last year thinking, whoa, is that it? I must have gone round in about an hour and a half. I thought, whoa, that's it. But then the next time I went round about 6 times in the end. The next time I went round, it was almost like everything had changed, but it's just stuff that I had missed the first time round. And I did that so many times, and I was still, at the very end, I was still finding stuff that I didn't find originally. The stuff under tables, it's everywhere. It's a treasure trove of stuff, really. Right, so let's get on to what is the main event for today. I've had orders in for 2 Roberts R707s. And those of you that have got these radios or have seen my videos on them will know that it's an absolutely amazing radio, but it's a pain in the neck to work on. So I've actually got orders in for 2. Both have paid up, so I've got to get these done within the next few weeks. I've given them a 4-week lead time on them. So I've got my work cut out because I've got some of Tony's radios I need to get done for the NVCF. I've got to sort out Sean's power supply. I've got to finish off Darren's radios, and I've now got these 2 on top as well. So plenty to do. But yeah, the Roberts R707 is an amazing sounding radio. In my opinion, the best radio that Roberts have ever built and ever will. They'll never make another one like this. It's a tremendous sounding radio. I suspect most of you have got them. Yeah, Mike's saying he's got 3 there. I didn't ever do an Invicta, Mike, no. But yeah, these are real sort of hacker beaters. These have got a different sound to the hacker. So you're either in the hacker, and when I say hacker, most people compare it to the hacker hunter. But really, the bass and treble control you've got over these radios is it's got far more range, I think, than the hackers have got. You can get a lot more treble out of these sets, which makes them really good for classical music. They do sound really good on classical music. So one of these sets is going to Ireland, which I think is this one. I had a bit of a debate with the chap, Julian, I believe. He basically wanted a really good condition one, and this is about the best condition one that I've got. And it's the older style with the Roberts badge in the front, and I quite like that. The newer ones, like this one at the back, and again, this chap wanted a newer one. This radio at the back is going to Germany eventually. So we've got one going to Ireland and one going to Germany. This is the one that originally the guy wanted, the coarse grain leather cloth, which Paul very kindly sorted me out, but then he changed his mind. So he said he's just as happy to have one of the original ones. It looks a bit grubby at the moment, but believe me, they clean up really nice. They take a bit of elbow grease, but they will come up lovely. So what I thought I'd do today, and I might be being a bit adventurous here, but I thought we might try getting a module out and doing a module in one of them, because that is the thing that really stops people buying these sets, because of the modules. I think some of you may have tackled a module before. Some of you will wish you'd never ever touched the module, and some people will never ever do one again, even though they may have done one. So it's one of those sets. I mean, me personally, I've done so many of them now. It's fairly straightforward for me. Yeah, no, Paul, I'll keep hold of that one, because I mean, I can certainly look at recasing one into one of those cases, because I particularly like the coarse grain leather cloth. I say coarse grain leather cloth. Let me just grab you another R707 and show you what I mean. This is my R707 that has not been restored yet, and it's a little bit dusty at the moment, but you'll see if you look closely that it's got a much coarser leather cloth than the other one. And it was only the later models that had that. And this one has even got the stripy grill. It's got a bit of corrosion on it, so I'm probably going to end up having to repaint that one, which is going to be a pain, but easily doable. So yeah, I'll probably end up having to repaint that because of the corrosion on it. So I'll probably just flat it right back. But this one I will get eventually restored for myself. So yeah, that's the difference between the basically three different versions, I suppose you could say. So yeah. So this is the plan today. I mean, aerials on them are pretty good. I think that one's perfect. That one's perfect. So we've got two perfect aerials on them. There's a little tiny dink on this bright here. So if I got better, I don't think I've got any other brights actually. There's a couple little dinks on that one, which is a shame. I'll see if I can sort one out. These brights are perfect on this one, although they're a little bit dirty. That's just cosmetic. That'll clean up fine. So I thought what we'd do is we'll have a go. Might even have a go at both modules. You never know. Depends how we're going for time, really. So first things first, I will go over the radio quickly for those that have never seen one before. It's a 4-band radio. So long wave, medium wave, and VHF, which is FM. But it's also got shortwave on it. And VHF is not airband, unfortunately, Darren. It's just our normal 88 to 104 on these. Then you got to 104. I think they did do a very last version that went up to 108. I don't know if this one down here does. No, that one's only 104 as well. Yeah, I think they did a final version somewhere that went up to 108. I've not seen one of those personally. The shortwave band on it, it's got shortwave, which is really good. It's got 49 meter band on it. Well, it's 41 to 49 meters. So basically it's, what are we? Probably about 5.8 megahertz up to about 7.4, something like that. On the scale it says 6 to 7.2, but that's not at the far ends of it. So it is usable as a shortwave radio. They're not brilliant shortwave radios, to be fair, but if you're listening to it outside, you will be able to pick up quite a lot on shortwave on these. The 49 meter band is particularly busy. And you have got amateur stuff in there as well, around 7.1 megahertz, which you'll hear, but you won't be able to decipher because there's no BFO in this. You've got separate bass and treble controls on it. You've got an AFC button, which is strange because when the button is up, it's in the on position. If you push it down, it turns it off, which is a bit backwards, really. Normally you select AFC by pushing it down, but Roberts thought they'll have AFC on all the time unless someone wants to turn it off. So that's the thinking behind that. Sockets on the top, we've got an FM aerial socket. We've got a tape recorder input, or output to tape recorder. Or is it output? And we've got input. We've got a headphone socket, which again, these are notorious. They're going to have to come out and be cleaned, which is a bit of a pig, but you know. So there you go. Batteries wise, it takes a strange battery, and I was explaining the battery type to a chap the other day, and he sort of had difficulty grasping which one it was. Now, have I got one to? There we go. Basically takes these batteries. I think they're a 996, but this one says 4R 25R, but they're basically a 6-volt lantern battery. And the other thing people can't seem to work out is how they go in the radio, because it is a bit unique. See if I got a couple here. I've got a couple here somewhere, but possibly everything will crash to the floor like that. Bear with me, just let me go and get a couple of these batteries a minute. Yes, Martin, the later ones do have a 12-volt socket, but unless you've got a decent PS12 Roberts supply, then you're going to have a lot of hash over most of the bands if you try using it with one of those switch mode wall wart things. Pretty rubbish. No, not well. Anything's possible, Leon, but I personally wouldn't bother. You could get a 12-volt transformer, I suppose. Put some sort of voltage regulator in there. Little bridge, you could do it, but I think these batteries here, and I'm going to experiment with this. I did say to Julian that I'm going to have a go at taking the lid off of one of these and see what I can get inside it. But it's a PJ996, look, 6-volt, 4R25 lantern battery. Hi Derek, we're good, thank you. Yes, it's a good old R707, Derek. Thanks for joining us. So this is your instructional video of the day on how to put battery in. I'm not going to turn this on. I'm going to power this up with the power supply. I'm not going to use the batteries to start it with. You need to tip the thing back, otherwise you won't get them in. This little shelf's got to come out. It's marked on here which is positive and negative, and you can see from the radio that you've got the positive wire going there. So the positive has got to face downwards. So basically it's got to go in that way round. Well, this is live, so it's not going to work, is it? But basically you just push the little springs in, slide them in like that. Exactly the same the other way. Positive down at the front. And there you are. Once you've done that, again, these modern batteries can be a little bit tight, but you just slide your little shelf back in and that stops them moving. There we are, simple. But if you haven't done it before, it is a little bit daunting. You think, well, what? There's nothing to connect the battery to. That's why. So nifty little idea from Roberts, but they were one of the only ones that I know of that used that battery in a radio. And I know I sold one of these to a guy in, it was Canada or the USA, and it really baffled him. I had to send him a link to Amazon in the end so he could buy a couple, but he hadn't seen them before. All right, let's get them out of the way somewhere down here on the floor where everything else seems to be living at the moment. Cheers, Paul. Catch you later, mate. Yeah, I don't know if you get 4 D cells in there, Benji. You might do. You might get 4 D cells in there. Let's grab a couple D cells. I think you'll be pushed. You might just squeeze them in there. I think it probably is going to have to be C cells, I would think. C cells definitely would go in there. Yeah, you could definitely get in fact, you might get 2 banks of 4 in there. What if you get 2 banks of 4 in there? No, not quite. Yeah, you could definitely get 4 C cells in there, but I think you'd be squeezing it to try and get 4 D cells in. This is where we need Bill, isn't it? Battery maker, he'd tell us, wouldn't he? Is that right, Theo? I say this feels substantial, this Panasonic one, but the these Bossman ones are much lighter. Apparently, they make 2 types. They make a zinc chloride and a zinc. Not sure, but they make 2 types apparently, and one lasts better. The super heavy duty ones are supposed to last longer because they're the chloride type. So yeah, that doesn't feel like there's much in that. You can hear something's rattling around inside, so I'm going to pop one of these at some stage. I'm going to lean on it heavily and see if it pops off like that one did the other day. So anyway, that's our lesson on 6-volt lantern batteries. So I don't know if this set works. This is a set that I think I'd put back for myself, actually. We should be able to hook it up. Let's put my power supply up to 12 volts. Make sure the current limit's right down. Hopefully you can all see this. Yeah, there was a lot of like workman's torches that used them, Benji, weren't there? See if I can lash it up like this. Yeah. Right. Let's go to VHF to start with. I'll pop the aerial up. All we've got is a little popping noise. And absolutely no stations. Let's try medium wave. It's drawing current, so we're powering the amplifier, but absolutely and as it's drawing a little bit more current on FM than AM, which is normal. I've got the volume turned right up now. It's got a bit of a hum on. It wants to work, but sadly our module is stopping it. So there we are. That's set number 1. That is not working. That's almost definitely going to be the module that needs doing. So let's get the second set up. This is a slightly later version. As somebody pointed out, the later version, you can tell because it's got the hole in the side for the power supply. And we've got a little rectangular badge here, not a square one. Sorry, not the block lettering across the middle. So that's the difference there. Exactly the same as far as the battery goes. Oh, it looks like I've already been in this one. That's a good sign. I have, or somebody else has. So this one, we may have looked at this one previously. I may have bashed the module or something with it. So let's have a look at this one. Let's connect it up the same. Now this one appears to be working.
I can only speculate, but I think unless she makes a decision and she decides what she wants to do and she finds herself, I think it'd be very difficult for Phil, and I really sympathize with him. I think I would stay on the fence there, be a friend, but probably don't get too close to.
As I said, with the tone controls, you can really.
Sounds to me like she's not going to stay in that relationship forever. Because if she's already unhappy, that relationship's probably going to end. But that might take a long time, and can Phil just wait around? Can you just, you know, you can't just wait around for somebody to make their mind up, can you?
And on the flip side for Phil, you know, how.
Was very angry about dying and very distressed about death, and Ben befriended him and sat down with Peter and they wrote a song together. Peter was able to share with this 16, 17-year-old young man his views about death and dying and how he felt about that, and that is powerful, and it's quite a rare quality.
Game of Thrones. Okay, so that's working on VHF. Let's try long wave. Again, the light's going to interfere with it, but we'll have to put up with a bit of noise, I think, on that.
To earn some money. That's when he decided to focus on music full time.
So that's Radio 4 on long wave. It's about all we can get, really. Medium wave. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. It is receiving, but it doesn't sound very well, that. Let's try shortwave. Well, that's a bit of an unfair test on shortwave without a decent aerial on it. So let's just stick my long wire aerial on it for a minute. We'll just clip that on. Yeah, we'll just clip that on because a telescopic whip is used on shortwave. We'll see if it'll pick up any stations on shortwave. So we have one working one. So if I don't get a copyright hit for that. A lot of interference, as you can probably hear. Not a lot on shortwave today. Better off nighttime, really. I think that's probably China Radio International. I would suspect it is anyway. All right, so how are we doing? Let's catch up with the chat. I didn't do the module in this one, Mike. I don't think. I probably just whacked it, I expect. If I've done it, I'll have a little sticker on it saying it's been done. What's that? Benji's put a link through there. You put Martin. You're the chap that done one and wish you never wanted to see one again, wasn't it? Untested. That means it ain't gonna work. That's right. You fancied another challenge. You're a glutton for punishment. Sean's had a go at a module. Right, okay. So let's ignore this one for a minute, although I've already pulled it apart. We may have looked at that one previously on a previous live stream when I bought it in, I suspect. Normally when I get a new radio in, we always have a look at it. So I'm going to put that one to one side and we'll concentrate on the one that's not working. Let's put that one to one side then. And we'll concentrate on this. And let me just see if I've actually got a module, if I can reach my module box. Can I reach my module box without smashing everything off? I might have one that I've already done, I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, let's have a look at this one then. We'll go through how to take them apart, although I've got loads of videos out there on this. If anyone wants to have a sort of step-by-step pause and look at it in detail, you can do. So the module that is usually causing the problem is up here. So what we'll do is we'll take the chassis out and we'll bash it a little bit and see if we can bring it back into life. That seems to be the norm, doesn't it? That's bashing modules. Let's put it on its back to do that. So we've got three screws to take out. These two here hold the silver straps in that you saw just now. Let's get a little container for these. This bottom one is the aerial, base of the aerial. So you should take that one out. I've taken the little support out. So now in theory, let's just put that strap over the front of the case. This top panel should come out. There we go. So we can take off our little bars, and there is the insides of an R707. So we've got our FM RF module here. This is the IF module. This is the amplifier circuit. And there's some little trimmers in here for AM, but the culprit is in there. So let's connect it back up again. In fact, I'll just power the soldering on up and we'll pull the wires off of this. Let's take the speaker out as well while I'm at it, because I say this is going to get refurbed over the next couple of weeks or so. Robert's very kindly put a little hole in there so you can get your nut spinner in and get the speaker out without having to take this bottom panel out, but we'll take the bottom panel out as well. These get stripped right down when I'm redoing them. Let's just catch up with the chat while I'm undoing that. It's kicked me out of Google for some reason. Hopefully the stream hasn't crashed. bashing is accepted standard practice. Oh, cheers, cheers, Darren. Sorry, mate, I didn't quite see you go on there, but catch you later, mate. So I'm taking the speaker out because we can use that for testing it for a minute. £36. I bet that's a few £100 in today's money, I'm sure. Okay, that's a speaker loose. Let's get that out of the way, and I'll pop the wires off of the battery holder. Look at them. There we are. That's that one. And that one should then be able to lift the whole lot out. You can stick the case to one side. Let's just get those washers out while I'm at it. There we go. Let's get that case down out of the way, out of harm's way. Rather a nice case on that one. Let's get the whacking victim back up on the bench then. So it's a bit easier to clamp the power leads on it now. So let's clamp them back up. Putting the right one on the right colour lead, Graham. Need to worry about the aerial. Let's get that out of the way as well. So what is the value then? Has someone looked it up on one of the online inflation calculators? Speaker's pretty immaculate as well. This radio is in really good condition. Let's stick that speaker over that side out of the way. Power it back up again. Stick it on FM. Let's go around 100 megahertz, which should be classic FM. Let's say it's drawing 40 milliamps, so it's drawing enough current, well, the usual sort of amount of current for FM. So I would say the amplifier stage is almost definitely working. Give the switch bank a quick squirt, because that can have the same effect as a dodgy module. We get some more of this at the NVCF as well, if they've got a British Vintage Wireless Society stand there, because it is cheaper than buying it anywhere else, I believe. Oh, this has got these little it's got these little metal covers on the back of the switches. Let's turn that off a minute while I push these up out of the way. Don't want those floating around inside when we've got power on. Let's get the backs off of all of them. It's quite a good little idea, really, putting the metal covers on them. Makes it a bit more awkward for people servicing them, but it does stop muck getting in the back of the switches. Make sure all of those come out. 2, 1 more stuck in there. 3, there we go. So let's give that a squirt of deoxit down each one. It's a bit aggressive. Cool. I think the little squirty thing on this one has had it. It's supposed to regulate the spray, but it went past that area, and it's a bit aggressive now. Let's give them a bit of a work over a minute. Let's pop the soldering arm back off. Because the other culprit could be the headphone socket. You got one from New Derek, did you? Yes, I did see your link, Benji, but I didn't click on it, mate. Let me click on it. Oh, I see. Right, okay. Ah, that's interesting. I've never seen those before. That's a very reasonable price as well, isn't it? Yeah, so they actually work then. They've got no outer case over them, Benji, have they? So that's probably why that they're used, because I don't think you get it inside the case of one, but you certainly would get it inside that. Yeah, they're very useful. So thanks for that link, Benji. I'll save that. Yeah. So today's price is around about 430 quid, is it? Oh, I did say about 400 quid, didn't I? $1,500, really? Yeah, I can short it out, but there's an easier way. Might really just get my signal tracer, and if it's a problem with the headphone socket, it'll pick up the audio on that one. So let's see first of all then if that's brought it back to life. Which it doesn't appear to have. So just check for audio at the headphone socket down here. So what I'm going to do is just clip on to a negative somewhere. There we go, a bit of braid will do. Yeah, we have got a bit of audio there, I think. Let's have a little look. Struggling with the speaker in the way at the moment. can just hear it coming through. That's coming through my amplifier. And it is coming through the speaker. Let me just put my mic down to the speaker. That's full volume, mind you. So the other thing we need to check is the gramophone or tape input, because we know that they can go badly wrong. Right, so it is sort of working. Let's get this speaker sorted out. Petrol, it's going to short something out here. Let's go in there. There's definitely no, we've got RF noise, but no signal coming through the IF strip. And the only station we can pick up on FM really is I can pick up very faintly, but the only decent station we can pick up is classical FM. Let's get a blue roll going here. Suck up all that lovely deoxit that I've sprayed all over the floor. So let's pop it back this way up. Let's give it some tappy tap. I stopped it dead now. No. Sometimes there's an issue with this big capacitor can short, and some of these can in the amplifier circuit, but I don't think there's any problem with the amplifier circuit. You can hear I've got my finger on it there and it's popping away nicely. we stick a screwdriver on the center tap, get a nice amplifier noise. No issues with the amplifier, it's definitely the IF gone. So let's pop it off and let the games begin, shall we say. Let's mark a positive on this. Okay, so I'm going to take a speaker out of the way, get that safe. And we're going to get the module out of it. You're getting the module out. This has got to be done anyway for the customer, so we might as well have a look at it while I'm here live, haven't we? 2 birds with 1 stone. Keep you entertained and get the radio done for the customer. I don't seem to have a lot of time spare at the moment. Plenty of photography lined up for next week by the looks of it. I saw that, Sean. I've just seen that. Any more remarks like that, I'll have to put you in timeout, Sean. All right, let's just disconnect the speaker. Get that out of the way. Let's put that in with the radio. Okay, so now we come to the fun bit, getting the module out. So we'll take the knobs off. Get these strips off the sides. Again, they can go down in with the case. Hey, Steve, how you doing? So we need to take off the connections in here. Again, worth taking a photo, but I've got plenty of photos of these. So you'll take the headphone socket wires off. Get off. You've got to take the wires off of the tape input. Let's get some forceps for that. And you've got to take the FM aerial socket wire off. No worries, Steve. Cheers for joining us, mate. So that'll then allow us to take the top panel off, hopefully. Oh, hang on. I've left this tricky wire on. They do this different on different versions of this. This one's got there's 2 connections to the FM aerial socket. There's an earth and a positive. So we need to take the earth off, which looks like they've wrapped it right the way around this one. Typical, right? There we go. One early R707 faceplate in really good condition again. So that can go down with the speaker and the rest of it. Although we will need to get the headphone socket out of that one in a minute. We can join the wires together there to bridge out for testing. Right, so that's the first part of it done. Let's get that out the way. This is one of these earlier ones with the twisty thing going on. So basically there's no screws in the top plate, they've just got tabs that they've bent over. I don't particularly like that type, but they do seem to work, I suppose. So we've got to bend the, basically what we've got to do is get this switch bank out of the way, because you can't get at the module with the switches in the way. There are lots of different methods out there of doing this, but I tend to stick with what I know and what I've done in the past, really. So that should move now. Okay. So we need to get all these wires off all the way around this switch bank, then this switch bank can come off. And the quickest way to do that is with my desoldering tool. So just let me get the iPad out of the way a minute. Let's pop you, where am I going to pop you? I'm going to pop you there. I'm going to pop you there. So we pop the desoldering tool in. Don't think it's quite as noisy with this microphone. Yeah, it's pretty clean, Sean, to be honest. It's not a bad example at all, this one. It's got the usual suspects, all the capacitors in there, but that'll be changed. Yeah, there's nothing else untoward looking in there. It all looks pretty straightforward. Ankles are nice and attached. While we're waiting for the desoldering tool to heat up, I'm just going to take the screw out the heat sinks for the output transistors, because that is in the way. You can't lift the module out with that screw in it. Still heating up. I don't think I do, Sean. I was going to check that. Just let me have a look a minute. It'd be nice if I did have one already done, wouldn't it? Bear with me. Where's the module box? It's up here. Yep. Switch banks and other goodies. This is my stash of modules. LP1164. There's two of these, and there's a 1164. Oh, that one says refurbished. April 2016. I know one of these isn't working. That one hasn't been refurbished. 171. So we've got potentially one that's been refurbished. So we need to put that one on Frankenstein's R707. Yeah, so potentially we've got a refurbed one here, but I'm not 100% sure whether that one's working or not, so we'll need to test that one first. Right, we're up to temperature now. So the idea is to basically desolder everything after taking lots of pictures. Well, again, I don't need to take pictures, because I've got plenty of pictures and I pretty much know now where every wire goes, which is useful. Now, what I've done the last couple, I've left this bank of wires in here and folded the switchboard out of the way. You've still got to desolder all these other ones though. You have to be careful because desoldering tool's playing up again. It would be, wouldn't it? I cleaned this right out the other day, so it should be fine. Sounds better. Right, so just blobbed a big bit of solder there, so just take that off again. Right. The idea is not to dwell too long on the traces, because you'll lift them. Take these out of the way as I'm doing it. This, I'm going to need another gun on this one, I think. It's just had too much hammer. Be time for a new gun soon, I think. There we go. We've got one more in underneath there. That's being troublesome. No, he's coming. So all of them done, and two resistors here I tend to leave on the actual switchboard. Come on. Hopefully you can all see what I'm doing still. I can't see the screen, unfortunately. I have been looking actually at some live streaming options earlier. So we're getting there. You can see we're pretty loose now. And what you have got to do is desolder the module wires. Oh, these are a little bit different. That's different. Well, Roberts decided to do them a little bit differently. I'll show you in a minute. Two. Three. Four. The last one. Five. Shut that up for a minute. That should be all our module wires off. There we go. See if we can persuade the switch bank to come out now. There we go. One switch bank out. Let's catch up with the chat a minute. Frankenstein. Got a rubber sucker. Yeah, the reason I say this one's different is normally the module pins is just sticking straight up, 90 degrees. Roberts have bent all of these back over on themselves, which is a little bit unusual. Normally they're just stuck up with the, yeah, like soldered on. So that's a bit different. So I have to try and replicate that. So let's just lift those off a minute. This is the module pins underneath here. This is just the little connecting wires to connect it to the switch bank. I have been replacing them previously. Okay. So let me get my bearings here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs there. Right, stick the noisy desoldering tool on. Going to need to get another beer. And I think, being I've just had a stout, I'm going to go with good old Guinness. Nice and cold, look. Straight out the fridge. They had a good offer on these actually on the local Lidl shop. Got the little ball in them, something to do with rugby, but they had, I think it was, basically it worked out about £1 a can, which for Guinness is pretty good, to be fair. So I think this you've got to, because it's got one of them little widgets in it, you've got to pour it in and let it settle. So there we are. Guinness draft, allegedly. Doesn't like it because I've got a wet finger now. A wet thumb. There we go. No fear. Go straight at it. Cheers, Doug. Welcome, mate. So hopefully you've all seen I've just got that switchboard out of the way. That's one of the trickiest bits, to be fair, getting that out of the way. Once that's out of the way, then you're on the road to home, really. As I say, I've left all those left-hand connections still attached, which seems to speed things up a little bit and less chance of lifting traces as well. Right. Oh dear, I'll tell you what, this thing is playing up at the moment. It might be that I need to change the filter in here. The suction filter maybe, but so what I'm doing, just going down and removing the solder from the pads. Hopefully without damaging any pads. Let's do these as well while I'm at it. Jammed again. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to get a new gun. You can buy just the gun for these, so it does help. There's one. It really does help having this tool, I must admit. It would be a lot harder without it. No, that was not quite up. A little stubby one. For some reason they cut the legs off of some of them. Just clean the nozzle yet again. One left to go, and that was quite a tricky one. It's right underneath the tone control there. Let's see if we can persuade it to come this way a bit. Let's find the end of it with a desoldering tool. Right. Let's just see if any of these are free. That one is. So all I'm doing is just putting a bit of heat on and just levering them up when the solder melts with the screwdriver tip. There we are. That's all of our module pins desoldered, so just need to bend them all up now, vertical. You see it's already moving, it wants to go, it wants to go. It's quite released this side yet, yeah, those have. Here she comes. The dreaded module. She coming out. Fighting well. There she is. There she is. One module. Right. Hi, battery maker. Bill, how are you? Yeah, I've replaced the filter the other day. Doug has got a brand new one in, so saying that, yeah, it looks like the main filter's blocked now. That's the issue. That's the issue, the big filter, and I don't think I got one of those. Yeah, that one's blocked, that. I don't really want to operate it without it, to be fair. Let me have a look in my big bag of spares for this. Let's see if I have indeed got one of those big filters. I bet I haven't. In fact, I don't expect they even sell that filter. Yeah, that's what the issue is that main filter's blocked. If I can get... Yeah, I'm just wondering if I can get one of these other filters in there. That seems to... Yeah, that might work for now. That'll work for now till I can get another filter. I'll have to see if I can order one of those up. Right. Yeah, it's a strange size filter, that, and I don't think I've seen that available as a spare. I might be wrong. I've normally got spares for everything. But yeah, that's pretty much had it. That's the original filter. I've never replaced it, so I do check it from time to time. Okay. Right, so the module is out. let's have a little looky, see what's inside it, and then we'll hook it up to Frankenstein and give it a bash with the cover off. So I don't know what I've done with all my small screwdrivers at the moment. I must have a stash of them knocking about somewhere. Little jeweler's screwdrivers. Try to get this little bottom cover off. We'll have a look what's inside the little monkey. Okay. All right, Doug. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've got a set of Dremel spares somewhere, but I cannot for the life of me find it in here. I really have searched high and low for it. I've put it somewhere really safe, but I can't find it. So just going to take the top off of this module. See what we've got inside. So I'm just heating up the desoldering tool again. Let's just let me go and grab Frankenstein's R707 a minute. Here he is. Frankenstein's R707. Oh, his aerial's jumped out of that. Back in there, you naughty aerial. Ready to go shortly. Alright, let's pop my mic back on. I keep forgetting that I haven't got the microphone on. Hopefully by the end of May, I should have a much better live stream setup, hopefully. Now these particular traces on this module are very fragile. So all I'm doing is just removing the excess solder with a desoldering tool. Then you've got to carefully prise one up. This one up here is probably the best one to do it on. So I'm just going to heat the, I'm not going to heat the board, I'm going to heat the actual tang till the solder melts and just pop it off, hopefully. Come on, there it goes. Let's bend that tag up, lift that side of the board out, and all you've got to do is just put a little tiny bit of heat on the tang there, and out she pops without any damage. So what have we got? We've got two AF115s and an AF116. Plus all the old electrolytics. A bit of a bendy board in that one as well. Right, let's just catch up with the chat. Let's get some of this stuff off the bench. don't know who we've still got on board, whether anyone's disappeared. Someone also said, Doug, that if you get a punch of the right size, you can use the makeup pads and just punch new filters out of makeup pads, but I haven't got a set of punches. Are we still all here? Because there's not a lot of chat going on. Just want to make sure that I'm still live. Yeah, I think I am still live. Right. Let me just check the camera. Yes, I'm still live. Of course I am. It's not a bad picture. Hi, David. How are you? Just Doug, Rob, Benji. Yeah, great. Okay, excellent. You were just so enthralled in what I was doing that you didn't want to say anything. Right, so shall we see if we can get Frankenstein's R707 hooked up? See if we can get this module sprung back into life. Now we've got 3, 5, 3, 6. That way round. So let me get my little book with all my module info in. It's my little wiring diagram. So the 6-pin side. Let's do this side first. So we've got red at the top, yellow, green, purple, or blue as it is, and black. Yeah. This has saved me a lot of work, this little, what I call my Frankenstein's R707. You can imagine, can't you, doing all this work, putting a module back in, only to find that you've got a leg wrong, or you've not put something back right in the module, and all of a sudden you've got a non-working radio that you spent hours fixing, and you've got to take the module back out again. I've only done it once, and I thought never again. And that was with AF117s, where I got the pinouts wrong on the legs. I do need to get these clips sorted, really, because they're not the best clips. What have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. Then we've got black, purple. I have got some more clips. I just haven't got around to putting them in yet. See, this one's decided to play up now, look. Yeah, this was working fine only a couple weeks ago. Right, our red one's popped back off. So I say the beauty of this radio is I have got a little power socket that I put in it down here, so I can use this one here for it. Plug him in there. Go in up there. "12 volts, power on." And as before, we've got nothing. We have nothing. I'm getting a little bit busy on the bench here. Let's get that one out of the way for a second. I can spin this round and we can get into full whacking mode. So let's go up round 100 megs. And let's start a bit of tappity tap. You've got to be careful with these though, because if you hit them too hard, you can actually break the you can break the AFs right out of the board. You can lift the tags on it, the tabs. I wanted to come alive then, didn't it, for a second? I think it's this one up here. It's called, oh, hang on. We've got a wire come adrift, look. On negative wire. Always sounded like it was going to work then. It's that one there, I think. Tappy tap, 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 tap. I think it's all of them, to be fair. Yeah, it's all of them. They've all got shorts by the looks of it. It's unusual. Normally you've got one or two that are okay. No, that one's got to have new transistors in it. It did spring back into life momentarily, so it definitely is the AF117. So let's just have a quick look at this module that I've got refurb on it. I know there was one that I refurbed that I got the legs raw on it, and it needs to come apart again. I should have labelled that really, shouldn't I? Save me extra work. So let's hook that module that I've got refurb written on it. Let's hook this one up. See if this one works. If it does, this one can go straight back in. I've got AF127s in it by the looks of it. So I've really gone to town on that one. And it will have had the capacitors done as well. I've written on it plus caps. It does pay really if you've got time to just do a couple of these. I've always got some. I've always got a spare available. Red. screen. Apologies, just can't look at the text at the moment. Black. Oh. Red. Right, let's try that one.
Stealing Anne-Marie Minhall's clothes. I allude to the Classic FM requests. Anyway, moving swiftly on, David is next, and he's opening with the first.
Have you ever bought an investment sold by Barclays, Halifax, Lloyds, Santander, or any other bank or financial advisor? Investments like stocks and shares ISAs, investment bonds, and certain types of pension can be risky. If you lost money with one of these investments, you could be owed thousands of pounds in compensation. Even if you no longer have the investment or the paperwork, here at Goodwin Barrett, we can still help. To start your free assessment, Goodwin Barrett. To 60777. That's good.
Oh.
The orchestra presents classical favorites live.
This is my wires not connecting very well.
Spectacular evening of music on the 11th of May. For tickets, visit bsolive.com.
How to strengthen your laptop security? Change your password to Andromeda batteries too? No, you need something unique and unforgettable. Your face. Instantly recognizable to Windows Hello on your new Windows Modern laptop from Curry's PC World.
I'm a sucker for you. Kids, well, they can join it.
Right, just beneath the belly button.
You would command them to.
Long way.
To blissful sleep.
Medium wave. Okay, so that module is a goer. Thanks to good old Frankenstein's R707. So that means I don't need to do that module today. But what I will do with that other module is I will refurbish that one to go into the next R707. Let's just get old Frankie out of the way. So this one's good to go. Right, let's catch up with the chat. Luck, do we like your YouTube channel? I really don't know because we're live on this one at the moment, Luck. Yeah, no, I don't think we're really into gaming. Some of us may be. Okay. Right, let's get this module in. Let's get it in. Easy, innit? Easy, easy, easy. Let's put that one to one side. As I say, I'll refurb that one to go back in the other radio. That's module going back in sound effects there. Yeah, they never go in easy, these. They never go in easy. Always fight. Lining these legs up is a bit of a pain. Let's have a look here. Can we do what I can do here? You're not far off. Yeah, Theo's just suggested putting the soldering on top of the transistor. That does work as well. So basically, these legs have all got to be lined up pretty much bang on in order for it to go back in the hose that they came out of. They need to be fairly free of solder. There's a bit of play in them, to be fair. Okay, so let's try and get that side in first this time. There we go. One side's hard, the other side's a little bit easier. So get the hardest side in first, and the other side should go in, shouldn't it? Yeah, I wish. Right, we need something long and flat to push those in. Not that one. Not that one. Go in there. So what I'm doing is trying to line the legs up to go back through the original holes. Nearly. Just one in there to go back. Oh, monkey. Yeah, the back leg's slightly bent there. Let's get my little, where's me dental pick thingy? There we go. That'll do it. There we are. Let's bend them down quick. Who on earth would do a module live on YouTube. Who would do that? There's crazy people out there. Doesn't need a checkup, I reckon. Right. There we go. Let's get my extractor over because I'm going to solder this one back in place now. Bit of flux on there. Again, this is an old module, old board. Gonna want a bit of flux. So hopefully you're all following along with your modules at the ready. Not if you're sane, you're not. I'm putting a fair bit of solder in here. You can't really have too much solder on here. Right. Now I've got to try and remember which ones had the pins on them. This is one of the issues, as the phone is my digital camera. And everything's saved to that. So let's see if I can bring it up on the iPad. Just make 100% sure what one it goes for. Wolf Brand Chili. Hi, Resonator. Doesn't make you howl. Chum. We're in dog food eating mode now, aren't we? Let me get onto my pictures a minute and see if I can find. Oh dear. See if I can find me R707 stuff. Photo stream. R707. R707. That's a later one, but doesn't matter. It'll be the same. The module pins. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one's got nothing on it. So what I've been doing is just putting these capacitor legs back in. Just dig a few out. Seems to be getting shorter on capacitor legs. Want some nice long capacitor legs. That was not too bad. I did put one of these in with flexible wires once, which worked quite well. I haven't really done one since with flexible wires, so maybe I'll have to give that another go on the other one, perhaps. One thing is that these capacitor legs do add a bit of stability to the radio, or to the switch panel anyway. That's probably why Roberts did it, I suppose. I'm sure they had a reason. Well, I don't seem to have any long capacitor legs knocking about unless I'm cracking up here. That was quite long. That'll do. One more. As I say, you can reuse the old legs and just straighten them up, but I like to put fresh ones in. I should have stopped cutting my capacitor legs a bit longer, wouldn't I? There we go. 5. So what I'll do is put like a little 90-degree on the end of all of these. Just pop a little tiny bit of flux on all of those. Plenty of solder on board. Actually, we're that way around, aren't we? I think. Trying to think which way round they were now. I don't suppose it really matters. Let's do them that way round. Module love. Gotta love a module. Ah, come on. That was a bit tricky. Let's get that one, put them on that side, I think. It's better. That's the guy over the road just dropped me over some beer, which is really nice of him. There we are. So that's our 5 module wires back. Make doubly sure I got them on the right pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, they are bent over. Right, so we can now fold this back over, getting those wires back through the holes, hopefully. You can theory. So where's my forceps gone? Let's get the iPad back over here. You've got to have tried the dog food, surely. What's the matter with it? One already? One already? Right, now I'm attempting to get my new wires into the holes on the switchboard, which is easier said than done. It's a lot easier if you disconnect the wires to the switch bank, but yeah, my neighbour's got me some cans of Old Roger, actually, which is a rather nice beer. And last time I went in to buy it, I couldn't find it, so he very kindly offered to pick me some up next time he was in the shop that sells it. See, I've made this awkward for myself now, haven't I? I'm really making a pig's ear out of this. This should be a simple job. This is why I think the flexible wires are a little bit easier to put in. So I've got 3, there's only 1 left to go. Let's partially put that in place and wangle the other one in. Easier said than done, Graham. What's a little monkey there? Let's bend him that way and see if we can get him in. There he is. There he is. Right, let's just bend them back so they don't pop back out again. I'm just bending the little tabs holding these in. So the later models have got screws, not these tabs, so they're a little bit easier to get in, but if you can grab hold of these tabs, they're okay. We've got a decent set of pliers. There we go. It's nice and tight. Right, now it's mass resoldering time. Just 2 capacitor legs on. I don't know how we're doing for time, but we're getting there. Okay, stabilize the board. Just pull these up through. Make sure none of them are crossing over. So I'm just soldering the module pins back in. Okay, they look good. Just snip the tops off of them. Good, right. Now we've got the job of getting all these back in. If you get one of these wrong, it can cause you a headache. Again, I have done it. I'll hold my hands up. I've put them back in wrong before and had to sort of look back through pictures. That's why it pays to take a lot of pictures when you're doing one of these. So like now, I'm not 100% sure if that one's in the right place. So let me just double check my pictures again. If I can get the blimmin' thing out from underneath, there he is. I think that one goes in there, but I will double check first. See how we're doing in chat. You're off. Cheers, Mike. Flashfly wallaby. Yeah, you can buy kangaroo steaks actually, like obviously off the subject of radios, but you can actually buy kangaroo steaks. Right, let's go back to my pictures. Okay, so that wire. We got that wire there, goes in there. Yeah, I was right. That wire there goes up there. They are tricky, these wires, because they're not, they've got no sleeving on them. They're just like bare capacitor legs, I suppose. You can get them in totally the wrong place. So, okay, we've got some holes still covered up there. Let's just take them off with a bit of braid. We'll come to those in a minute. So we've got grey, yellow, white, orange, grey, yellow, white, orange, Okay, so now we've got more tricky bits. We've got another grey wire. Going the wrong way with the pictures here. Purple as well. Okay, so we've got our bare wire. Next. The bare wire. Great. I know this wire was soldered on top. I like to try and get them through the hole if I can. There we go. Just gives it a more solid connection. There we are. That's all the wires ready to solder there. So let's just give them all a bit of flux. Right, that's those soldered back in. Just the ones on the edge now. So we've got that one goes to the far connector. Blue one goes to there. Come on, blue one. Joined two traces together there a minute, so let's just sort that out. I'm not sure if they're joined or not. Let's have a look. Yes, they are joined. Oh well. Right, there we are. That's the module back in. Simple, wasn't it? Hopefully we've got everything in the right place. We haven't missed anything out. Let's just bridge the red and orange leads, I believe. Got a bit warm then. And I think we should be ready to test the module. I think, I said. Let's pop the speaker back on. Right. Module Mania on a Sunday. Let's get back to the chat a minute. See where we are before we fire this up. See if what I've just done has made any difference whatsoever. Just getting over the crazy dog food chat. So yeah, I think I will be going on the 12th. I don't think you're quite with me at the moment, are you? You're still in dog food and kangaroo, ostrich, roadkill, whatever mode. So we'll hang on for a minute. I'll just amuse myself. What's it now? 7:30. 2.5 hours. That's not bad, really, is it? 2.5 hour module work job. But saying that, we don't know if it works yet. We're going up on the 11th, Sean, stopping overnight so as we can be up there nice and early on the 12th. That's the plan. It's only on one day, not two. It's on the 12th, Sunday. Just make sure you draw out some cash first. There is a cash point in there, but it was fairly hard hit last time. I don't know if they actually did run out in it, but there's an actual cash point inside the hall, which is unusual. But yeah, there's a cash point inside the hall itself. Just putting some bits away. Right, are we ready to fire this radio up yet or not? What do you think? I'm gonna get a can. No, I'm not. I'm gonna get the Stag out. Let's have a bottle of Exmoor Stag. A nice beer, this. You used to be able to get it on tap in a couple pubs, but I don't know, for some reason pubs these days have got it in their head that everything's got to be 4.5% or less, and they don't stop. They don't seem to put the stronger ones on the pumps. This is 5.2, so it's not that strong, but it's not what they call a session beer, I don't suppose. And well, they basically want people buying lots of beer and not getting too drunk, I suppose, because if everyone's had enough, they'll go home. So the weaker the beer, the longer you'll stay there. That's the theory. Doesn't work with me though, because I'd rather find a pub with stronger beer and go and drink there. Yes. Headphone socket is actually out of circuit, Sean, because I've got no top panel on it. I've bridged it out here. I'm hoping I've got the wire colours right. If not, nothing will work. Right, let's go for it then. Let's turn it off for a minute. Put the knobs back on because it hurts my fingers trying to turn these things without knobs on. So let me think which one's VHF. Is that one there? AFC we'll leave on. Let's get, what did I do with little wires that was connecting that? Did I put them back up there neatly? Unusual, but I have done. So hook up a bit of wire for the FM aerial. Okay, 4 in the hole.
Record was. Well, you drop me a line, send me an email, tell me about it, and you could be on the show. Details before we close. Maybe it was this.
I did an essay once on Pride and Prejudice, and I had to read the whole book for first year uni English literature thing. I just watched the TV, got a 72. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but sometimes it works out for the best. This is FKA Twigs. That's bad advice. Bad advice.
Didn't I do it for you? Why don't I do it for you?
Delivering precise ingredients, delicious recipes, and a dollop of adventure
Amazing
to
sound.
your door.
That is amazing sound, that is.
Sorry I'm late. I was hand-knitting some blankets for pregnant refugees.
Yes, Maureen came in and sorted everything out. She did the order of service and the flowers, and she booked the choir, and she sang with the choir. And after the funeral, obviously, we were all in a state of heightened emotion. And I went up to her and I said, Maureen, You were amazing. You do so much for other people. You're selfless. You're just like George Michael. Which it turns out for an 80-year-old Irish Catholic woman is a slightly baffling compliment. And I said, what would we do without women like you, Maureen? Charity shops, food banks, church committees, caring for children and the elderly. This country runs on women like you, and you never...
Paris, farewell. You want to make sure people have loved it, and that includes not only the bands and the chefs, but most importantly, everyone who's come through the gates of the park.
They certainly will, and also, you know what? They'll feel it. I remember last
hope
time, because
so.
you came in and I'd spoken to people who'd been, they were like, oh, it was a love event.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we'll
Okay.
Our hearts are in his army, in his tent, in his bosom.
Right, let's try long wave.
Still struggling with technology, but still doing okay.
I typed in the word you sent me. I hope I've done the right thing, and it seems to work. So everything's fine here. Yes. Okay. So don't worry about us. We're absolutely fine.
Sadly, my light obviously is interfering with it. That's Radio 4, which is about the only station I can get medium wave.
With 8 days.
Yeah, shortwave. It's picking up plenty of interference, so it's definitely working.
Здравствуйте, дорогие радиослушатели. Мы продолжаем наш эфир, и с вами рубрика «Граммофон», в которой мы с удовольствием знакомим вас с популярной китайской музыкой. Очень рэпер, автор и исполнитель собственных хитов. Он обрел популярность после победы на шоу «Супербол» в 2015 году.
Oh.
Очень мило родился всего 90-го года.
Doesn't like my wire for some reason.
Кроме того, он умеет играть на гитаре. Свою первую песню он написал в возрасте. Вечерът спечели награда за най-добра музика.
Picking up better on the shortwave.
Qui il mapuche è lo strumento più importante, interpretando le parti principali.
Оглавявано от режисьора Роб Минков, определени носители. билетов были распроданы за 1 минуту и 32 секунды.
I think we can say that's working, don't you? That's picking up surprisingly a surprisingly large amount of stations for shortwave, but then it is getting a little bit it's getting a little bit dark out there. So there you go. You're off, Andy, are you? Cheers, mate. No, the glass ain't empty. I've still got plenty of stag left, mate. Sorted. Yeah, I can't because I've got the knobs on, Sean. Yeah, the buttons are fine. You can't really misalign these because it's got the tabs, not the screws. There's not really any leeway on them. No, that's not a tear. It's just a bit of whatever they've glued it with. It's just a glue streak. Who was saying that? Theo. Yeah, it's just like a little bit of silicone or whatever they've joined the speaker magnet voice coil. The voice coil wires. I knew I'd get it somewhere. There you go, people. Well, that was my aim for today, was to see if we could get a module done live, and yeah, done it. Brilliant. I know we've took modules out live before, and we've put new transistors, etc., in them, but we've never actually done a module out, a new module in, and fired back up again in the same sort of breath. So that's the hardest part of this one done now. I'm gonna, shall I change the caps or shall I leave him in there? It's one of those things, isn't it? I think probably this set is going off to Ireland, so I'm going to recap it. I'm probably going to put mostly radios in it. Again, this radio, once this is in, you can't see. It's not really a visual, and the only reason really to put the Vishays back in is to keep it visually nice, but we can't see inside, and the Nichicons are just as good as the Vishay, so it'll probably have some Nichicons in this one. Panasonic in place of that 680 microfarad. 640 was a 680. You'll go back in there. These will all be pretty much out of tolerance by now. Some people say, would don't go mindlessly recapping a radio for nothing, but there we go. Let's just whip this speaker back off again. Then what are we on? So what time did I come on? I came on at 5, didn't I? So that's taken me 2.5 hours to do that module. It's pretty good, really. The more you do, the quicker it gets, isn't it? So I might go and spoil you by bringing another radio in for you to have a look at that I picked up this week. The blue caps are nice. There's not much on long wave now, Noel. I can get a couple French stations. I can usually get an Irish station and obviously Radio 4. Of a night time though, you'd be surprised how much long wave and medium wave opens up and the more channels you can get. Longevity. So let me just whip the speaker wires back off of that one. That was either going to work or it wasn't going to work, wasn't it? So it's a bit of a gamble on my part, but it paid off for a change, which is nice. It's good when things go right, isn't it? So bear with me a second. I'm going to just quickly go and have a break. Not a break. I'm going to loo, and I'm going to grab this other radio. Okay, I'm back. I am back. I am back. Let's just get myself clipped back on again. Whew. See how the chat's going. Are we talking about dog food still, or are we back on? You want a restring? Get off of you, Benji. Is it for sale, Sean? It's being sold to somebody. It's already spoken for that one, Sean. Customer over in Ireland. So Julian, if you're watching, that's your radio working. Right. So I've got another treat for you now. This will be the last one for today. So if you want to go and grab yourself another drink, then do so quickly. Mackerel, Theo. Whoa. record breaker. Green screen. Oh, green as in, yeah. Well, what about if I change that green screen to a white screen? How about that? Let's just turn my soldering iron off. Ow. How about a white screen then for you? You may think it looks familiar, Sean, but this is another one. This is another one. You don't like white, Theo. I do apologise. I can't please everybody. But you do like Hacker, though, Theo, don't you? Hi, Harvey. Glad to hear that you're still with me. Yeah. Cheers, Noel. Yeah, welcome, mate. Anyway, I don't think we've seen you before, but tend to do this most Sundays. Just pull some radios out to work on or look at, or it might be a record player. Could be anything. You just never know, really. So it is a white Sovereign 2, and I picked this one up in the week. It's got some issues. I've not tried firing it up yet. Obviously, the white has gone more of a beige color. We've got a bit of white. I don't know if somebody's that. No, it looks like a bit of white insulation tape for the handle. It doesn't look too bad, to be fair. So it needs a bit of white Rexine there. Hospital radio, it could well be. One thing with this is a Hacker Sovereign 2, but it is an RP. Oh, this is an RP25A. Ah, that's unusual. The other two white ones I've got are RP25Bs. This is an RP25A. Ah, that's unusual. Oh well. Not that it makes a lot of difference. It just had slightly. Well, it was like the last of the Sovereign 2s. So we got some issues with it. You can see that the back grill is floating in thin air. It looks like it's been glued to the Rexine, which is going to be real scary to get off. But it's got to come off. So that's one issue. We've got a knackered back grill, but again, that can be repaired. You've all seen me do it before with just little bits of copper wire. And it looks like the cloth covering behind has disappeared as well. So I'll have to have a look on the other two to see what colour that is, because I wouldn't have thought it was black, but it might be. Yes, Resonator, I've got some of that Retro Bright, and these definitely need doing. You see we've got four push buttons there. Two are different colour. These is what it should be, and these have obviously yellowed. That's something to do with the chemical in the plastic, isn't it? The bass and treble controls are really yellow. The module, Leon, just taking me. Well, I started the live stream at 5 o'clock, and it was done by 7:30, so 2.5 hours. You're addicted to the smell of 1960s Rexine, are you, Harvey? But yeah, if you watch a stream back later, Leon, you'll get to grips with the time it took to do. So yeah, we've got a loose back grille, we've got no Rexine in the handle, we've got yellowed knobs on it. There's a bit of a ding in the grille here, although the grille does look pretty good. So we've got a bit of a ding there. The ends are on the handles, which is nice. And we've got an original straight aerial, which is even better. So let's have a look in the back. So we've got a bit of corrosion. To be fair, there's not too bad corrosion there. We've got a little bit of battery leakage has come down onto this bit here, but that's only surface, that'll come off. We've got a rusty screw there, which can be replaced. The hinge itself doesn't look too bad. See, these have gone to powder, the little buffers, but we can replace those. This has got silicone transistors in it. Silicone. Got a bit of corrosion on the battery terminals, but nothing that a bit of vinegar won't get off. They're all there. That's looking good. Nothing that I can see untoward really that's going to cause any issues. It's looking really good. It's all there. All the little station markers are there. So I'm going to say plastic polish, Theo, won't get these back to white. It would do if you spent long enough on it, but you'd never get into all these little knurled bits with it. You've really got to use some sort of chemical to reverse the chemical process that's caused them to go yellow. It could be. They are pretty rare, Theo, to be fair. They don't come up very often. I've been lucky enough to get two, and Sean let me have one as well. So I've actually got 3 of these white ones now, and I don't need 3. I only need 1, so I have got 2 for sale. Which again, I'll take an order on them, but they're not restored as yet. But yeah, I have got 2 of these for sale. Maybe including this one, you never know. But they are rare. They don't come up very often, and when they do, they fetch quite a high price. And you know, you can see why. They are fairly unique. You know, that white dial face is really lovely, really nice, and very, very unique to this particular model. Evening, Gary. Tape deck. Evening tape deck. No tape decks, Gary. We've done a module in an R707 earlier. And we're now looking at a Hacker Sovereign 2 in white. RP25A, not B. So what's the betting then on whether this works or not? I'm going to say it'll work. I've not tried it. Literally, this came in probably Wednesday last week. I've been so hooked up. Well, you've been there all the time. Oh, right. What are you working on a tape deck, Gary, are you? Hi, Andrew. I'm with you now, Gary. You weren't saying hello to me. You were saying hello to Andrew. I've got these blimmin' emojis on now for some reason. I can't get the emojis off. Get off emojis. Ugh. Oh, well. Oh, you want me to get a tape deck on the bench? I've got my Nakamichi downstairs. I must get that one on the bench at some stage. So, yeah. Who thinks it's going to work then? . I think it will. So you've missed us doing a module, Andrew. I managed to do a module swap in 2.5 hours, which is pretty good. I want timing myself or racing, but okay. One thing people get confused about on these radios is how to hook them up to a bench power supply. And I got a little bit confused when I first started out and didn't really realize what I was up to. But you don't need a battery and a set of power leads. You only need one set because they're wired in series to give 18 volts. It's an 18-volt radio. So all you need is your 18 volts here. One of these you use as the positive. I'm going to use this one as the positive because it's red. So I'm going to connect the red to the red. And I'm going to connect the negative back here to the black. So that's basically bypassing that and going straight in. If you dewired it, you just have the black and the red. If you see, you've only got 2 wires going up to the radio, and you need to be putting 18 volt on those 2 wires. So if you trace that back, you've obviously got the red there and the black's back here. So you've got 18 volts going through. You don't need 2 batteries or 4 sets of clips. That's all you need. Right, let's turn it around so you can see what's going on in the front. As usual, we'll start it off, pardon me, on VHF. Let's get the current limiter down. So we don't want to be killing this radio as soon as we fire it up. So have you all got your bets in? Probably thinking yes. It's a Sovereign 2, and to be honest, these do sound amazing. I'm trying to think. I mean, I probably prefer the sound of a Sovereign 2 than I do the sound of a Hunter. It's got a little bit more warmth to it, I would say. The Hunter's a cracking radio, very, very, very good. But I don't know. I like the Sovereigns. I like the Sovereigns. Anyway, without further ado, then let's stick it on 100 megs, which should be classic FM. Hunter's rule. Ready? Ha! Nothing. Not a dicky bird. You were all wrong. I get to eat dog food. Andrew's with me. Now this could be the switch bank, so we'll go. No. So not even a pop from the speaker. So what does that tell us? Andrew loves these Sovereign 2s. This is his favorite radio. They just give you lots of problems, Andrew, don't they? So I think the problem we're going to have here, we've got no sound coming out of it, so it's got to be a headphone socket. It has got to be the headphone socket, hasn't it, really? Or it could be the gram input or the tape recorder output. but I'm going with the phones. I'm going with a headphone socket, so we can check that. If we come down to the amplifier, yes, it is drawing current. It is drawing current. It is drawing current. So let's just get down onto the amplifier, see if we've got a signal down here. So our input's down here. We have nothing on the input. The problem is that I cannot get to the headphone socket. Let's try. Shh. I reckon we could have a gramophone socket issue as well. This could have the works. It could have them all. It could have all the known faults. Like Andrew's radio had all the known faults, didn't it, Andrew? Is that connected to ground? Let's have a look. So I think we can safely say that it's the headphone socket on this one. So that's a bit loose as well, isn't it? So someone has probably discarded this radio purely because the headphone socket is open circuit. So let's see if we can clean it without taking it out of the chassis. So what we need is a headphone cable or a jack plug. I can get to my jack plugs. So we want just a normal mono 3.5mm. That will do. So all I'm going to do is give a little bit of a squirt into the massive squirt then, all right, okay. Into there and just work that in and out. Ugh. A little bit of a poke with a screwdriver. No doubt it'll have to come out, but you never know. This will work sometimes, not very often to be fair. Not in this case. It ain't gonna work, is it? Yeah, we're poking that in there, will it? Come on.
That's for the Roberts R707.
Ah.
A few weeks ago, so I hope she won't
There
mind
she is.
if I choose something else from the disc. So
ah.
plenty of those in his illustrious career.
I tell you what, these headphone sockets are a pain in the neck, aren't they? Come on. Incidentally, don't go poking screwdrivers down in the headphone sockets. I'm not condoning that. I've got it connected up to a current limited power supply, so it's not going to do it any damage. Ah, come on. Don't make me take you out of the chassis. It's dirty as hell, that is. And bear in mind there's switch cleaner in there as well. It's just not even... It's going to make me take it out of the chassis, isn't it? Oh, you little monkey. It's coming out. It's coming out of the chassis. Can't have it not working. It's coming out of the chassis. They're not brilliant, those sockets, Andrew, at all, are they? Cool. Flipping heck. Why won't that handle come off? I think... Oh, silly idiot. It's not one of those handles, it's one of these handles. Okay. It's one of these handles with all the bits and pieces on it. Little brass bushes and washers and rubber washers. Had to be the headphone socket, didn't it? I wonder how many people have taken these radios back in the day into repair shops and they've just put a spot of switch cleaner. But even switch cleaner won't clean these blooming things, will it? Not even switch cleaner will clean these. It does work sometimes, but not very often. As soon as you open the circuit, it won't make again. If you know what I mean. I'm sure you do. Right, what have I done with my forceps here? They've got to be here somewhere. 2 pairs of them knocking about here somewhere. There we go. Chuck it in the bin. Yeah. If I chuck this in the bin, there'd be quite a few people going through my bins. Sure. So Dave over at EEV blog, he seems to have amazing bin finds, doesn't he? Right, let's pop this out. And prise it away from the plastic grommets. Yes, not the power supply. No, it's a very, very common fault with these radios. It is the headphone socket. So, I think for the purposes of this, we are just gonna bridge it out for a minute till I get round to restoring it. I'm trying to think which is which on the socket now. Let's have a look on the Roberts one. Yeah, so you've got to bridge the 2 outer ones together by the looks of it. So this is just a quick fix, really. I'm not going to go doing any work on this today. Just get it going and we can have a listen to it then. Hopefully copyright free. So what I'm going to do is just cut a quick piece of wire. Just bridge the contacts out. Andrew certainly holds the record of the most faults on a Sovereign 2. I think it was a Sovereign 2, Andrew, one that you had the problems with. This is an RP25A as well, which is the more common of the 3. Oh, that wasn't very good grain, was it? Let's get a bit of solder in there. There's not solder on that connection. I can't see with my magnifier either because I've got to get that out of the way for the live stream. Let's tap that one and I'm going to redo the other side as well. I mean, is there anybody here that actually listens to their hacker through headphones? Are there any hacker headphone listeners out here? Because I've never ever connected a pair of headphones to a hacker. I can honestly say I've never done it. Right, so let's bridge the headphone connector out. I mean, to be fair, it could stay like that for the rest of its life as far as I'm concerned, but people want these things working as they were back in the day. So it will get stripped out and cleaned. That's the only way you'll clear it. Unless anyone else has got any other headphone socket clearing ideas out there. Right. Here we go again. Make sure I turn the volume off this time. Let's try it with a bridged out headphone socket. Absolutely nothing. Bizarre. Come on. What are you doing to me, radio? Have I forgotten to connect something here? Is there something simple that I've forgotten? Let's have a poke in there again. Drawn current. Don't tell me that we got the gram socket and the headphone socket all in one. A double whammy. Let's just gently get it out of the case, still connected. See if I've bridged the wrong wires. That is a possibility. See, I've scared it now.
One is a Labour voting Remainer, the other a Conservative voting Leaver. At the end of the experiment, they meet each other to discuss what they've learned. The bubble is tomorrow evening at 9 o'clock.
This was one of the only two machine made.
BBC Radio 4 marks 500 years since the death of Leonardo da Vinci.
It's a very good summary of several different projects, one being the automatic car, another being a robot.
Celebrating his extraordinary vision.
The layout is rather similar to his sketches of a flying machine.
Okay, well, it must have just been a dodgy connection here somewhere. It is actually working. So let's stick it back in and try it again. It could just be something shorting out down there, possibly. So I haven't got the screws in it. Yeah, I've got to be careful because it will. Let's put the case screws back in. It never pays trying to take shortcuts, does it? They always come and bite you in the backside. Hey, Sam, how are you? Welcome. Ultrasonics. Hi, Wenlock, how are you? Oh. Let's just get these things out of the way here. Okay. Are you watching in bed? That's probably a bit early for you there, Wenlock, is it? So I think Sam is coming to the NVCF, aren't you, Sam? I'm sure you said that you were going to be there. "5:30 in the morning." Right, there's a couple screws back in it now. It's oh sorry, let's put them all. Let's put it back together. It's got to go back together. I don't like leaving radios in pieces everywhere. I think we've got a washer missing off of these as well, because normally they've got a washer on the inside as well. It's a long way round. I think Andrew's going to the NVCF. Andrew, aren't you? Andrew Alsfa? I can't remember whether Andy Beck was going or not. Right, let's just put in the handle back in. There we are. Back as we should be. Let's put the little plastic, little chrome clips on the end as well. If it doesn't work now, then that's it. Yes, it does. Right, okay. Let's get the airwheel up. Light out of the way. Interstation muting is a little bit over the top. Let's see if we can. Incidentally, if anyone doesn't know what interstation muting is, it basically it quietens the band in between tuning. It'll only pick up the stronger stations. So if I take it out, oh, it's not doing it now. You should be able to hear the hiss. Hello. So basically, it's just so you got all the hash in between stations. If you push that down, it just cuts the hash out. But you've got to adjust it. There's a little tiny thumb wheel inside that you adjust it. So basically, on interstation muting,
This is he content.
It will literally only pick up the stronger stations.
I don't need it.
It's a very clever little idea.
Archie Parker, when she's actually only 21, and they had the most enormous wedding. It held at Trinity Brompton, a huge reception for 400 at the Hyde Park Hotel. So it was a big society wedding.
So they became...
It's much nicer with the interstation muting on. It's a little bit off frequency. We should have classic FM just there. Trying to remember which one it is now to tweak it. But I've got me tweaking that one. It's better.
A better range of anywhere else locally. With 20 branches throughout Cornwall, Devon and Somerset. RGB Building Supplies. No one loves to keep it local more than us.
Company well built. RGB.
Find your local branch at rgbltd.co.uk. Decisions.
Just pick your favourite. What about...
Musicals that they wrote years ago. This one dates from 1972. Jesus Folk.
And she said, well, a friend of hers had been to a luncheon party, and halfway through the luncheon, she turned to the hostess and said, excuse me, could you tell me where the bathroom is? And the hostess had said, oh,
out of the door, second on the right. So she...
Spotless honour by that face, that fair hand, and that honest heart you
A
gave
little bit of
me.
a scratchy tuning dial.
in and use the wash hand basin. Wait to pull the basin off the wall.
No, it
She
might not
crashed
be
to
the
the
dial.
ground,
No.
being knocked out and concussed with the basin on top of her, and had to be rescued 15 minutes later.
No, it's just the interstation muting.
Down the door to get in.
What about the novels? Because how did that start, and what was her inspiration for doing that?
She'd always wanted to write a book, and it was quite.
Let's try long wave.
And to her, a surprise, it just absolutely rocketed, and it became. Socially ambitious, and they are completely.
Medium wave. Well, medium wave's pretty lively.
And will then accelerate climate change, such as, for example, the Amazon rainforest could dry out, stop the...
Kennedy and Tommy from the Telegraph. What do we make of Greta? Do you think, Camilla, that she is impressive at 16 years old?
She's so impressive. I mean, you can't fail to be impressed by a 16-year-old. She's her calls and speaking with great composure and elegance. Second language, let's to point out. I mean, her English, I would imagine, worked better than our Swedish.
Whether he's trying to be into me or not, he's answered.
Well,
it was a fluke.
You've always answered those questions, very honestly. I seem to remember that one of the first people you rang when
And the band were doing the...
Well, there we go. That is the White Sovereign 2 RP25A sorted temporarily till I can get time to strip the switch out and clean it properly, put it back together, lubricate it, all the rest of it. But that's how you fix a dead Hacker or Roberts even. If you've got a stone, no pop in the speaker when you turn it on, then it's more than likely going to be one of the sockets, one of the phones or gramophone, anything like that. Hi Tam, how are you? Just needs staining red, Theo. I don't think they did a red Sovereign 2, did they? I think it was a blue or black, wasn't it, on the Sovereign 2? Blue, black or white. Unless I'm wrong, I might be wrong. Yeah, I do like the red and gold ones, I must admit, Andrew. I've got the RP37A, the VHF Herald. Let's just get you back on my ugly mug for a minute because I'm going to call it a day shortly. I've done my module work for the day. I think I should be in shop there somewhere. Oh, Christ, that's a bit bent, isn't it? We're on. Yeah, I've got a couple or three red hackers. I know I've got RP37A. I've seen. I repaired an RP30, I think it was, Herald, and that was absolutely mint. I've never seen one as good as that before. Was it red or was it burgundy? Might have been burgundy, but it was an easy fix. Is my clock 2 minutes? It probably is. Yes, it is. My watch is saying 8:48. That's 8:46. Well spotted, Sam. How's that? Sorted. IKEA. You like the red? Oh, the red and gold. Yes. I thought that was Sean for a minute. Is that Sean shot off again somewhere? Where's he gone to? Did he say goodbye just now, did he? Night, Derek. Cheers, mate. Thanks for joining us. Did you say you were going to the NVCF, Joe? Sam, even? Average Joe? Was that a yes? Right, mate. I was just, because I think it was you, Sam, that was after that Philips scope, wasn't it? So if you were going, I'd have chucked it in the car for you. That was all I was thinking. That was all I was thinking, mate. So if you let me know, then I will pop it in the car for you. Just wiping all the grunge off my hands now. So say I've got plenty to be doing here. I should have got the Airband radios finished this week. So I'll be looking probably next Sunday. I'll be looking at Tony's little Japanese portable radios. So I did say I'd get him some done to give back to him at the NVCF. I think Tony's working abroad at the moment, so he's not really about much. So yeah, I'll probably have a crack at those next Sunday. We'll see if we can get those done, because they don't take that long to do. It's usually just a recap and away we go. I'd like to do raw wooden basset, Steve, actually. I'd love to go to one of those auctions. I've never been to one yet. So I've got a mate up in Western Supermare that goes there all the time. So I think the idea next time was to drive up to him and leave my car at his, and he was going to drive us over, but he should be at the NVCF, so I'll collar him next time and say, oi, go in. I can't get this emoji keyboard off. Oh, perhaps it's that button there. Flipping thing. Get off. There we go. So I'm just looking at the chat now. I need to get this mounted up there, really, so as I can sort of look at you and the chat at the same time. Take me plastic, Steve. Yeah, they do have some great stuff in those things, don't they? Yeah, I must go. Andrew Alsfer, you're going to NVCF, aren't you? I'm sure you said you were. You might have already told me further up the chat, but I do. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, I shall be there. Okay. Cheers, Noel. Thanks for that, mate. Hopefully you're subscribed to my channel as well. If not, then please subscribe. And if you're on Facebook, Noel, if you send me a message, I've got a Facebook. My Facebook channel is Radiocruncher. If you just search Radiocruncher in Facebook, drop me a message and I'll add you into our little messenger group, and you can have a chat during the week then as well. So cheers for now. Thanks for joining us. Cheers, Steve, me old mate, old lad. I suppose I'm an old lad now, aren't I? Getting knocking on a bit. Oh, red and white, that would look horrible, Theo, wouldn't it? Red and white. Oh, 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 oh. Yes. So plenty to do for me this week. I've got loads of what's his name work to do. Loads of photography work to do this week because it's built up from me taking last week off. But I did have to get those radios moving on because I've just got too much stacked up here waiting to go. So I'm going to say bye now myself. My tea is probably long gone. We did go out for lunch today with my lads, so we're not going to have a big tea. Just a pasty, I think. A bit of a pasty. Cheers, Dave. Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us. I didn't see you there earlier. Apologies if I missed you coming in. Thanks for joining us, mate. So hopefully everybody will have confidence now to tackle a module. As I say, I've done a few, but it's just about being methodical, taking pictures of what you're doing and just checking. Obviously, I already had a module done there, so I didn't need to refurbish the module live. I did do that a few live streams ago, so excuse me, hopefully you'll all have confidence to do those now. If not, you can always give me a shout and I'll help you through it. So bye for now, and I'll catch you all in the week, if not before. Next week, or if not before. That's all right, Resonator. And again, if you buy one of these old hackers that in it just is totally dead, headphone socket is your first port of call, really. No worries, Sam. Catch you again soon, mate. Cheers, Theo. Bye for now, everybody. Cyberflyer at night then. Catch you soon. Cheers, Gary. Andrew. Alsford, good one, mate. Speak to you all soon. Bye for now.